Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia and here on this channel we talk about writing, journaling, and productivity to help you curate a life that you love. So for today I wanted to make a video that I've been meaning to make for quite a while, and that is how to journal with tarot. For those of you who don't know, tarot is a practice where you draw upon tarot cards for introspection and guidance. I recently got my tarot cards, I believe last fall. I'm not really sure when I got them, but I just got the classic design tarot deck with the 78 cards, so there's the major arcana and the minor arcana. If you don't know much about tarot cards, I'm going to give you a brief kind of explanation, but I'm still new and I'm still learning about tarot, so mild disclaimer here. I'm a newbie and I don't really know much about tarot. I have to use little apps and websites to help me out for them, but I really enjoy it, and it is one of the ways that I implement my own spirituality within journaling, and it's also a way that I seek guidance and introspective journaling prompt situations. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. So tarot cards are divided up kind of in two parts. There's the major arcana, which has cards like the moon, the sun, the lovers, the world, the hierophant, that kind of stuff. And if you've seen my Aries video and my Taurus video, each zodiac sign has a certain card associated with it from the major arcana, so that's kind of the idea behind that. The major arcana has a bit more meaning and is kind of broad when it comes to your overall life situations. The next part of the tarot includes the minor part of the decks. So there are 4 suits, kind of like a deck of cards, and they are the swords, wands, pentacles, and cups. So when you do a tarot reading, at least for me, I always shuffle my deck and I focus very intently on the question I want to ask, my situation in life, or kind of whatever I'm doing. But when I do readings for myself, I tend to focus mostly on my concerns, my day-to-day routines, and kind of just what I'm feeling and thinking overall, even if I don't exactly know what I'm feeling and thinking, if that makes any sense. So that is a brief explanation, very brief explanation about tarot. If you want to learn more about tarot, I can try to help out a little bit. I can make a more informational video, but for the sake of this one, I just wanted to keep it brief so we can focus mostly on journaling. Okay, so I had to change the camera settings, so if things are looking a bit different, yeah, I changed the settings. Okay, so the first step for journaling with tarot cards, if you have tarot, if you're interested, is just to figure out what spread you want to do. I tend to opt for kind of the same spreads, in all honesty, whenever I journal. I have a very specific journal spread that came in a little pamphlet within my tarot deck card, and it's a 10-card spread that focuses on your current situation. That one's very in-depth, but when I want more simplistic versions, as I did for today, I focus on the 3-card pull, which can kind of represent many things. It can represent like past, present, future. Honestly, there's a lot of ways you can do it, and I like going on Pinterest personally to find different tarot spreads, but for the sake of simplicity for today, I did just pull 3. Now, when I did pull 3, I didn't really think of it as past, present, future. I just kind of pulled 3 to kind of elaborate on my current situation, but again, it's completely up to you, and I think that the cards, it's less about the spread itself and more about the cards within the spread and how you relate to them. So now we get into the exciting stuff. So once you have figured out your spread, you've shuffled and pulled out your cards, it's time to get on to the main bulk of the journaling with tarot, which is jotting down all of the information. So in my notebook here, which is my journal notebook, I have organized basically my reading into different categories and then offered space for journaling separately. And I'm going to go into detail on what each space means and why I did it. So of course, the first thing that I did is write the date, because I like to know where I was in a certain point in life, and then whenever I go back and reread my journal or reread my tarot entries, it's kind of fun to see how I've changed as time has moved on. After that, I end up writing down just the word card and next to it the cards. So for example, the cards that I pulled today were the Ace of Swords reversed, the Hermit, and the Seven of Wands. So I made a section for the first card, a section for the second, and a section for the third. And so we'll just go off the first section, but each one is pretty much identical aside from the information inputted next to each category. So the first thing I write is the card name, and below that I write down the basic traits. Now, as I mentioned, I'm new at tarot, so I don't remember all of the card meanings. Some cards that I've pulled quite frequently, I can kind of give you more elaboration on it, but just for the sake of, being accurate and fully getting the understanding of the card, I like to use biddytarot.com. So I found Biddy Tarot when I got my tarot deck. I was going online looking for tarot card meanings, and this website was just so helpful. I love it. They have a blog post for each and every card in its reverse and upright position, as well as a little part at the top that tells you the basic keywords of each card. So in their basic keyword section, that's what I use as the traits. So the traits for Ace of Swords, for example, are inner clarity, rethinking, and clouded judgment. So I write those in the traits section. Below the traits section is the category for meaning. And basically what I do is I read the entire description of the card in Biddy Tarot and sum up what it means. For the Ace of Swords, for example, I wrote down 2 ideas, and that is a new idea is emerging and doing too many projects at once. And those are very vague, not full sentences, but the meaning is there. I know that this card is telling me that there's a new idea on the horizon that I'm either going to come up with or have already come up with, and I may be balancing too many things at once. Below that, I put relation, which is my relation to the card. So, for example, I did go a little bit more in depth, but my relation for this card was mostly that I'm doing too much at once when it comes to projects, including my blog, freelancing, YouTube, TikTok, and emails, and just everything. There's a lot going on. And then below relation, I put the word advice, which is the advice given on the blog post for people who have pulled that card. So Biddy Tarot often gives advice for each card, and the advice for the Ace of Swords was spend more time defining goals, meditate on new ideas, and take time before action. So those are the things that I related to and I thought would help my situation, so I wrote those down in the advice column. And I do the same thing for all my other cards. So I write the card name, traits, meaning, relation, and advice for all of them. Now, for my third card, I did pull an additional card just to kind of add more elaboration on the card's meaning. So my additional card, I just wrote the card and traits. I didn't really bother with the rest of it since it was an additional card and I kind of understood the meaning without having to add extra. But it's up to you how you want to do it, and I think this is a really basic way to kind of add a lot more to your reading. So to really pull this into journaling, I ended up writing down a journal prompt off to the side that I could respond to in response to the cards. So the journal prompt questions that I asked myself were, what do I think, and what does this mean to me? So really what I mean here is, what do I think of this reading? Is it accurate? And if it is, what do these cards mean in correlation to me? And so I ended up going on kind of a mini rant about each card, just kind of writing what it's about, how I relate to it, what it could be speaking of. Again, the journal entry doesn't have to be that long. I only made mine about half a page, a little over half a page, and that was because I didn't feel like I had to go super in depth to understand the meaning of the reading, but again, it's up to you. I do think moving forward I will probably do more journaling prompts on introspection since I pulled the Hermit card, and the Hermit asks us to kind of take time alone and really think and process life in our heads and just by ourselves. So I do think I will be doing more introspective journal prompts after this, which I'm kind of excited about because I feel like recently I've been doing a lot of forward planning journaling, but I haven't been doing a lot of introspective journaling. So this is something that I'm looking forward to. And I think that depending on the type of card you have, you're going to have different responses to how you want to continue your journaling. If I would have pulled a card that asked me to involve myself in more self-care, I would probably start journaling about ways to implement self-care, if that makes sense. Or if I pulled a card that advised me to go see friends and go hang out, then after I hung out with them, I would probably take time to journal and write down the memories of the event and why it mattered to me. Journaling with tarot is very open-ended, and it is something that I enjoy doing, but it's a very personal thing as well, so this was definitely strange to do. However, if you are interested in journaling with tarot, then my best advice to you is just to start and figure out what works for you, because every tarot deck is different, every person is different, and your journaling experience is what you make it, so do what you gotta do. Alright, well that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I really hope that it sparked some sort of inspiration or information, I suppose, for your journaling needs. If you want to see more tarot or journaling tips, please be sure to let me know in the description box below, and yeah, until next time, I'll catch you later.